started the road with 40 pounds of pressure for his oil, ended with about 10, but he made it the whole way. Did a few things to the car, and then he just now completed 1,000 miles of the Mille Miglia in North America here with the exact same car. The whole point is keep going. Every day, keep going. Mr. John Nikas in his Austin Healey 100. We have a little tradition we do, like in Italy, and they're finding their road book so we can stamp that they've officially made it all the way back to Santa Barbara. These guys have driven. They started here on Wednesday. They went up to Monterey, spent an evening there, all through back roads. They did about 265 miles the first day. They did about 300 miles going up to Stinson Beach the second day, and then they drove all the way back here doing about 330 miles going all the way through Nukayama. Some of these cars, especially this one, it's a wonderful thing it made it. Thank you, John.
It's difficult because you have the experience of having tried to drive it across country where it was so unreliable that we couldn't get 180 good miles out of her, much less 1,000 miles at speed. So it was always lurking in the back of your mind whether things would revert to that, and I did almost the entire drive with one eye on the oil pressure gauge to see if things were really as good as they looked. And the entire time I think I was stunned by the fact that when you looked in the rearview mirror, all you saw was just a bevy of prancing horses there. We had a Ferrari Mondial, a Ferrari Testarossa, a Ferrari Lusso, two Buonos, one of them driven by a Le Mans winner. And the incongruity of realizing that the car in front of that entire pack was an abandoned Austin Healey is really kind of shocking. And at the end of every stage, I think everybody was stunned when they realized that the first car there every single time was Grace. And throughout the entire history of the actual event held in Italy, which is 84 years of competition, no car this small has ever been an overall winner. And some of the cars that we competed with here actually competed in the Mille Miglia throughout history and have won the Mille Miglia. I mean, there's no excuse for a 90 horsepower British pushrod engine to defeat, half a dozen Ferraris, not to mention the Alfa Romeo or the Allard or the Curtis or the other cars that were here. To think that somehow we held them off through some combination of just determination and outright luck is really hard to believe, but very consistent, I think, with kind of what's happened from the very beginning of this drive. I think that if there are people sitting there, and we certainly have heard from a lot of them over the past week that are watching this, thinking she can and she can, now looking back on it, realizing, well, she did, and she did, it gives people hope and inspiration, because I think achieving the impossible is really what battling any serious problem is all about, whether it's cancer or some other illness or financial difficulties or emotional difficulties or physical infirmities. Whatever it is, half the battle, I think, is just not accepting what you've been told and going out and trying. Because I know when we started this 1,000 miles ago, we look at all these race cars, and these were real race cars. These were prepared race cars. There was no chance in the world that we would have even had a top 10 finish. And I think that over time, as people saw us and they saw us driving hard and really trying, we started winning our fellow competitors over, because you could just hear that she was at everything she had, and she had nothing left at the end of every day. And the overall win is nice, but I think the trophy we're most pleased with is the Participants' Choice Award, which is voted on by the participants to their favorite car. And I think it's odd that Grace, who certainly in this company is the least attractive aesthetically and certainly the least expensive, may perhaps be the most valuable car on this field, just by dint of her accomplishments and by virtue of the fact that she has never given up.
Seriously good shape.